Hi, so I'm going to run through my VR settings. I run a HP Reverb G2 on a full AMD setup with a 5600X CPU and a 6900 XT GPU. Um, so I think we'll start with some of the programs that I'm using, which are, we need this one here, OpenXR tools for Windows Mixed Reality. Setting to use the latest preview, and the custom render is set to hold at the 100% there. Second tool also using is this open composite. I'll try and put some links so you guys can find this. It's pretty simple. Just install this one. Set the configure. This button here will normally say, see there, that, so you click that, set to open composite. In that way, then you can ditch the Steam VR. You haven't got to run through that, absorbing the unnecessary powers. The other one here is OpenXR toolkit. So use this one, and through this one then can set up the AMD FSR rather than doing it in game, because the in game doesn't, it seems to take the resolution down, process it, but then it's not upscaling it back to a higher resolution. So in turn, you get a performance boost, but you've almost also lost your resolution. Whereas doing it through this OpenXR, I found that it perked the resolution right back up. In game FSR, I was set at 59%. Was a pretty poor picture, but performed really well. Switched it out, started using this FSR through this OpenXR. I currently run somewhere between 70 and 75% now on the resolution. Increased performance, far better visuals. So it's all really working really well. For the AMD, currently on the let's get to the home. Currently on the latest 22.8.2. Everything up until now from 22.5.1 up till just prior to this latest version, I was having VR issues, so I was stuck at 22.5.1, which was working reliably, but recently just installed this latest version and it's just transformed at leaps and bounds. Don't run an overclock on here, which I'll put a link to the video I've used for that, but other than that, I haven't really changed many settings in here for this latest driver version because it just seems to work really nicely. So that's the general graphics. I go for in-game. Again, I've just set this, but don't think it makes much of a difference. Like I say, with this latest driver, it seems to work really nicely. So that's the AMD. We've covered those few bits. Obviously, you can research these separate tools individually to find them and to work out how to use them, get them set up. They're all pretty straightforward. And there, so we've got our assetto corsa, which I'm running through Content Manager. Take one step back from there. Let's finish all the VR related stuffs and cover the settings in Mixed Reality Tool. Oh, settings in here. So the main ones going to be relevant to anyone in here is, so this home stuff, you don't want to stay in there for very long, so you don't need that very high. So just whack that down to the lowest. Um, Running best visual on the experience option, highest resolution of the headset here in the resolution, 90 Hertz. Again, that's all pretty straightforward. There is one other setting here. I'll make sure I have this thing off. This setting here has given me some funny issues in the past. But with this one off, it's all seems to be behaving nicely. And then obviously you want this one off as well, because we don't want to keep firing up Steam VR. Now we're running the open composite. So that's that. And then we get into yes. So where should we start here? Start on the video settings page, I guess. So this is a post-processing filter. I found it's worked well in the VR. Everything's cranked up quite nicely. I don't limit the frame rate in here because I've started to do it via this Riviera tuner statistics. But I don't think it made a great difference, but apparently it's a more reliable way to do it. And then you can set it for both these two applications then when they're running. And then just set the same frame rate there. Again, you can research those tools separately. I've set that at 93, so it's just over what the headset wants, because I've found if I run it tight at 90, I'll get a message coming up saying that the CPU is bottlenecking the VR image. This tends to be where it sits, solid 89 and above for my frame rates, and up to like 14 car lobbies, do a lot of drifting, so there's a lot of tire smoke. Smoke generation's turned off in this section. So this one made a nice little difference as well. Set that down to 0.05. Turn the skybox reflection down. Some of the cars, a lot of the tracks run clear skies, and the sun reflecting off the cars just looks a little over the top. So I've knocked it down there on a little bit, but this one here was interesting. This rendering distance, I found it like a lot of these with this 69 XT. I found if I try and limit resolutions or limit quality, it actually seems to have a harder time than if I run everything wound right up. There's a weird science. Obviously, it's nice to have a fairly top of the line card. You want to, ideally, you're hoping that you can put everything on max. Well, my experience has found if I try and hold the card back or try and hold settings back, it seems to hold the card back and suffer performance losses, strangely. But that's what it is. So that's video settings, and then we want shaders patch. Start at the top. General patch settings. Let's try and a lot of these have changed ages ago, so it'll be hard to know. But I'll just try and scroll through them slowly so you can pick off everything that. We can see here too that I've turned on. All in an effort to get more refinement and aid the performance. So it's general patch. I think I've got brakes active, car instruments are active. I've recently been able to turn this on because I've had a bit more headroom in performance, so I've been able to turn that on and not suffer. All this DXGI I haven't bothered with. Extra FX, I'm running that off. Fake shadows on. Um, Obviously camera's not really affecting our thing. Graphics adjustments are quite an important one for us though. So I'm not running this on in here. FX super resolution is turned off. But these have set various settings I've picked up along the way. I think these here were pointed out by the guy that's developed Soul and Pure. So that was one of his suggestions, I think, if I remember rightly, one of these here, and maybe these couple here. They aided performance as well. No post-processing anti-aliasing. Kick that off. Let's start from the top here. Lighting effects. What I have done, I've got particles effects. This is, if you notice, I've got my smoke. I'm on a minus 55 there on extra heating. 80% quality. Some of this newer smoke just gets super overpowering. With this, you get smoke, you're driving through smoke, but it's just not ridiculous. I do find when I go to record replays and stuff, it doesn't show a lot of smoke, so I have to switch some of this back up if I want to record, but I don't do much of that. Turn the fireworks off. It's just an unnecessary absorption of processing. So turned off these solid pieces. And I probably, with my most recent stuff, I probably turn a couple of these back on and not suffer too much now. Where are we at? If we go past grass effects, is another one that I turned off because I found it distracting. You're driving along and the grass is growing in front of you as you're driving. You can see it growing, and it just bugged me a little, and so I turned that off. I tend to find I don't miss it. I'm trying to look at other cars. I do a lot of drifting, so trying to concentrate on where the other cars going and trying to keep close and all those other good things to not worry about what the grass is doing. So don't think any of those are important really. You can play around with smart mirrors or whatever, but tweaks in VR. This is where I'm at. I've found as well, now that I'm running the FSR externally through the toolkit, I can also then run in Content Manager. I can activate this single pass stereo, which you'll note here. It says it's not available with SFR. Obviously, once that's activated through Content Manager, but activating it this way, it seems to function fine and have a little increase in performance. If you research how single pass stereo works, and that it might explain it a bit more to you. Where are we at? This part to do with the open VR, open composite. I just switched that on. I don't think you necessarily need that, but I just set it to that as well, so it all seems to work fine. I've got that turned off because again, playing around with that seemed to just absorb a lot of CPU. This is a good one to have on because it moves the in-game menu so it's always with you in the VR rather than trying to chase it. Like when you leave the car or view from outside the car, it comes with you rather than it's stuck in the car and you can't change things. Yeah, so that's those few there. I think like to think that that would be all the things you need. So we've covered, so it's OpenXR, we got that one there, Open Composite, we've covered mixed reality, settings in there, this toolkit one. Yeah, like I say, don't use the Steam VR anymore. You want the latest driver 22.8.2, working really nicely for me. I am wondering if I pop my headset on, see if it sees that in. Oh, get some sort of spooky triple layer thing. I'm not the most frequented user of that, but I'll stitch that. I'm going to try it out, see if it'll work. So if you notice, I've changed my home to the simplest one. Let's see if I can demonstrate you that app as well while I'm here. So what we've got for that is, can I find it now? Only have to use it once and then fit and forget basically. What was it called? What was it called? Something home thing, I think. Where was that then? I really don't know what that was called. Skyspaces, that was it. Was that it? I might have to shut that down for it to work. Close that one off. Don't know why it's not working. Ah, I see. Allow list. Oh, so that there, wherever it says that is. Advanced. Why won't you just let me like click on that and say that we want to allow it? Bear with me, folks. Skyspaces, open, done. Hopefully that will allow that to work. Or not. Right, tell you what, turn you off. There it is. Right, so this is where we are. Empty room. Look, if you look, it's only running 2 megabytes. The simplest, cleanest version on here. Obviously, you can run all these different ones. Look, but you can see how much more megabytes they are compared to empty room. So you just, I guess you go on there, look, and it go to install. So I've got empty room installed. Nice, simple. Obviously, uses some less resources. Like I say, I'll try and add some links to this video at the end. Thank you for bearing with me. It's my first video of this any sort of kind, but hopefully be some use to a lot of people. So I've struggled with mine for about 12 months to get it somewhere where I'm super impressed now at the quality and smoothness that I'm getting through the VR.